ZZZ has a massive issue, and I don't hear anyone talking about this. Look, Shiyu Defense updated this last weekend, and if you've been getting your butt handed to you by the likes of Miasmic Jane or Doppelganger Hugo, you're not alone. I've been having a lot of frustration too. I've been trying to understand, why am I having so much difficulty against these bosses? And then it dawned on me, we rarely get to fight these guys. Like, we fight them once in a blue moon in the hollows or in some other game mode, and it's usually a one-off, and you move on with your day. I have the slightest idea of what their parry timings look like, actionable windows when I can attack them safely. I mean, this is information that's lost on me. Your first reaction might be, get good, kid. Look, I'm my own biggest hater, and I'll be the first one to chalk it up to a skill issue and tell myself that I just have to overcome. But hear me out. I don't think that the issue is on me or on you. I don't think it's the boss's fault. This is a HoYo problem. I am fully blaming HoYo for this. I 100% believe that they are intentionally gatekeeping any kind of training mode or any kind of useful tools to be able to measure your damage output or just team combos from match to match. In my mind, there's absolutely no reason why we can't choose for more bosses and enemies in training mode other than a blatant effort to prevent you and me from getting a basic read on enemy mechanics. I mean, this is the BS part to me, and this is the core of my frustrations. Doppelganger bosses aren't inherently difficult to fight against. They're just inaccessible. I mean, I have the slightest idea what they're doing running around the whole time, and in a mode like New Shiyu Defense, that's essentially a speed run mode at this point, I gotta get in there, do my damage, and get out, or else my score is gonna tank. I don't have time to sit around and wait for parry windows and whatnot. So it's my firm stance that HoYo is intentionally hiding things and obscuring information to make things more challenging. They don't want you to get experience against these enemies because then you'll get bored faster and they'll have to redesign another boss sooner. I mean, case in point, look at the results screen at the end of your matches. What are those numbers? I see 3 numbers. Sometimes, or every time someone gets a crown, why are they getting a crown? Sometimes Jufufu has twice the amount of points as every other person on the team, but she's not the one doing the damage. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's some combination of style points or, you know, they clearly have some kind of algorithm to calculate it, but they're not telling us. So that's not helpful whatsoever. And don't try to trick me. I know that it's possible. They showed us recently in the investigation zone. Is that the name of the co-op mode that just recently came out? Anyway, at the end of it, they show you your damage contributions. They tease you, showing you, hey, look, we can show you that they do 33%, they do 40%, and then they do 27%. It's right there. So they have the tools to be able to do it. They're not doing it on purpose when you're on single player mode, because then you could reverse engineer and back calculate, you know, exactly how much damage each team member is doing. They don't want that. They don't want you to be able to figure out these details on a granular level. So this is the crux of it all. This is why the doppelganger bosses are so hard to fight against. This is why our training mode is terrible and why we don't have any reasonable tools or results screens at the end of matches to be able to understand like how much damage we're doing. It comes down to being able to reverse engineer mindscapes. They don't want us to know that. They don't want a single content creator to day one M6 an agent, test scenarios at each cinema level, and then at the end of the day release a video saying, don't pull on X agent, you know, stop at M2. They are so afraid of that because that will kill revenue. I mean, think about it. I mean, the first week of an agent release, we're all on the edge of our seats, kind of, you know, seeing how strong things are, you know, feeling it out. I mean, it's just kind of the natural rhythm of the game. So if we could individually figure all these things out ourselves, HoYo would be cooked. And I think the best evidence of this is not even having simple Mindscape toggles. I mean, in ZZZ, Mindscapes and how many cinemas you have fundamentally change your playstyle and how the character works in a lot of cases. So the display is already there. We know that we can already toggle like the art. why can't we toggle the Mindscapes? I mean, we already pulled M1, M2, M3, etc. Why can't I go back? And the answer is what I've been beating like a dead horse this whole video. I mean, if I was little Timmy content creator and I was able to pull M6 on day one, then I could do the testing myself, M1, M2, M3 up to M6. Oh, this happens at M6. How does that compare to M2? Let me go back to M2. I could do all this myself and then release a video with some clickbaity O-face like, don't pull past M2 on some agent or something. So, I mean, that's HoYo's fear. They don't want one person to be able to crank that out themselves, because as it is now, when a new agent releases, we're kind of all on the edge of our seats, you know, kind of seeing what the community is going to put together, because it takes a lot of collaborators to put together all the data and eventually figure out the relative strengths of all these things. The new Shiyu isn't difficult because the bosses are exceptionally challenging or anything like that. They're just rare and inaccessible, and we can't really encounter them in any other scenario. So like, where do we get experience fighting against that? So all in all, I think they're well-designed bosses. I have fun playing against them. If you've played RPGs or other fighting games in the past, it's usually the bosses that are more your size, smaller, they hit faster, harder. Those are the fun ones to play against. So I've got no qualms with the actual, boss designs. It's more just, if you have no idea what you're doing against them and you don't know what their mechanics are, then, good luck, too bad, too sad, good night, kid.